Hello and welcome everyone, it's Capcan and today I want to show you the gameplay of Marksmanship Hunter. How does it look, how does it feel, and after a couple of fights with enemies I'm gonna quickly run down our main abilities and what do they do. So yeah, let's just probably kill some enemies. This one is gonna be pretty easy to kill, and then we're gonna have our Ancient Watcher, which is definitely gonna be a little bit harder, but still zero problems. So using our cooldowns here. Yep. Now let's probably jump. Kite more. So yeah, some problematic abilities, but he's still dead. Yeah, so he has rooted us in place. Now maybe we'll try our AoE stuff. So let's go. Probably, yeah. Oh, you need a little bit of time of ramp up. Yeah, and I can't even really use the volley because they will either break it off me or... Yeah, so mobs don't really have enough HP for me to give you the AoE abilities rundown. Oh, that was pretty bad Chimera shot because there was no dot to update on the enemy there. Yeah, so as you can see, mostly Hunter looks pretty similar to the retail version, especially to the retail marksmanship version. Yeah, and I guess let's kill probably one or two more minions. Oh, and you can't really disengage without combat, which is a little bit unintuitive and not something that I'm quite used to. So okay, let's run down a little bit on our main abilities and then show some additional gameplay as well, or maybe I will like do this stuff simultaneously. So first and main ability is our aimed shot, which is just instant, very high damage skill. Yeah, reduces healing done to the target, just like Mortal Strike with Arms Warrior. Then we have our Serpent Sting. We have different kinds of stings, but our main DPS one is Serpent Sting. It just deals damage to the enemy, and our main, like, not filler, our main secondary damage ability on single target is Arcane Shot. It just deals pretty good damage to the target. It's instant as well. Everything costs mana here. So there's no focus like in a retail version, and you can't really shoot when the enemy is up close. You can use your melee abilities, but yeah, they don't really do that much damage, and you just need to either kite enemies or to have a tank in your group. Yeah, let's probably eat some stuff here. So yeah, then we have our Steady Shot, which is the filler of the filler abilities. It costs not a lot of mana, it has cast time, you can't move during it, and it just deals additional damage. It's a little bit more cheap than Arcane Shot though. Then we have our, as AoE abilities, we have our Multi-Shot, which is our next damage, our next auto attack is gonna be, is gonna hit 3 additional targets. Or no, just 3 targets. And then we have our volley, which is channeling ability, and yeah, you're like running down some arrows on top of the enemy's heads. Then we have in marksmanship we have Chimera Shot, which just refreshes your sting ability on the enemy and does some stuff if like it does some immediate thing, like with instantly deals part of the Serpent Sting's damage if you're hitting your enemy that has Serpent Sting, or instantly restores you some mana if you've used Viper Sting and stuff like that. Then we have our kill command, which is just a DPS cooldown, and you still can and want to use it even in marksmanship. We have our rapid fire, which just increases our auto attack speed, and we have our hunter's mark, which increases our attack power against the enemy that has been marked. So everything is quite simple, yet though gameplay wise feels very similar to the retail version of Hunter, which is not the case with many other specializations in the game. And I don't really mean that it feels similar in like all the cooldowns are the same and stuff like that. I mean that the dynamic of the actions of the animations of your character are quite similar. You're shooting instant shots, which feels similar. Like when you're playing warrior in classic or in Wrath of the Lich King in this case, you really feel that it's way like it's the thing from the past. Animations are scuffed. You don't really feel most of them, or at least some of them. Often it's not like your spell goes instantly, but it's your next auto attack that will launch the spell. They look way worse, and here we have very similar graphic stylistics and stuff like that. So yeah, it definitely feels very fresh, when some other classes yeah, they don't really feel too fresh, and you can feel the oldness in them. As in with Hunter, you don't really feel that. Then we have our traps, of course. They so you can freeze your enemies, you can do different awful stuff to your enemies. You can have some AoE additional damage with the trap. You have then we have our silencing shot. We have different stings that either debuff an enemy or restore your mana. We have aspects, which are like stances kind of, so different aspects give you different passive buffs. So currently, and our DPS stance is aspect of Dragonhawk. It gives you ranged attack power and chance to dodge. And that's it. But if you need mana as fast as possible, you can turn into aspect of the Viper, and your damage done just replenishes your mana, and you can additionally with Viper Sting you can just get your mana back way faster. Yeah, hunters use mana. Hunters use stuff that gives you agility and intellect. So yeah, and you have to deal with mana at least a little bit. Then our just normal pet stuff that you can tame pets. They have skills, they have stances. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And marksmanship plays with a pet as well, because you don't really have lonely hunter in here, so you can't really disband your pet and go alone and deal additional damage. So you will have your pet either way. It will just be a much weaker than if you're a beastmaster. So probably we will go and maybe just shoot more stuff with the maybe more trees, so that we can truly feel the damage of the... So where are our trees, our elite mobs? Yeah, there he is. And we have, as defensive cooldowns, we have our parry chance increase, so we will parry all the attacks, and you will deflect spells. And then we have readiness, which refreshes the cooldown, most of our cooldowns, which means that yeah, it can be used both offensively and defensively. And I don't really have my melee attacks on my quick cast bar, which means that if this guy comes close, then I'm not really gonna be able to do anything to him. And there is I don't really know if the dead zone's still in the game. There are some zone where you're not close enough to the enemy to hit him with your melee attacks, and you're too far. Yeah, and you're not too far away in order to you being able to hit him with your ranged abilities. Yeah, something like that. So, oh, and we have our True Shot aura, which I don't have up right now, which is quite a problem. Yeah, that's just a raid-wide buff for your raid members to have additional attack power, which is quite useful, I would say. Yeah, so as you can see, I don't really have any problems with mana here, so of course situations differ, and it is gonna depend on your gear, it's gonna depend on many different things. Maybe I shoot him with freezing arrow. Yeah, but it's definitely not as big of a problem as for different casters and stuff like that. And to be honest, I quite prefer it more than the focus. I don't really, and that's my my own opinion, I don't really like rogue energy-esque mechanics where you like you spend your resource very fast, and then you spam your button as fast as you can, so that you will whenever your skill is ready to be used because you have enough resource, you're spamming that key in order for it to be used. So yeah, I don't really like this. You have 100 resource, you spend 30, 40, 50 with your each skills, and then you run out of it, and you're waiting every 2-3 seconds for it to be regenerated up to at least half of the maximum of resource. Yeah, and then you like, that's not really my thing. I've liked hunters back then better with intellect, and it's just interesting, at least for me, being able to like play with your resource carefully and do stuff in the right way, so that you don't waste too much resource in some parts of the fight, and then you have enough of it, and then you have some mechanics in order for you to refill the mana itself. So like it's just way more interactivity with the resource that doesn't really you just spend it with your 2 skills, and then you wait for it to regenerate. And yes, you have like passive talents which gives you regeneration, or you have like abilities that quickly recharge it, and but it's not like you don't really have any strategic planning in that process, which is quite sad for me. So yeah, probably that's it on the Marksmanship Hunters from the Wrath of the Lich King Classic. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe to my channel. I would be very glad to see you subscribed. And yeah, have a good day. Goodbye.